Can you speak on that at all?
Ma'am, I'm not qualified, certainly as a scientist or otherwise, to speculate points of origin. I looked at everything from a scientific perspective. So if you look at, for example, instantaneous acceleration, which was one of the observables of the program that I belong to, ATIP, the human body can withstand about 9 G-forces for a short period of time before you suffer negative biological consequences, blackouts and ultimately redouts and even death. Comparison, our best technology, the F-16, which is one of this older platform, but one of our most highly maneuverable aircraft, manned aircraft, made by General Dynamics, can perform about 17 or 18 G-forces before you start having structural failure, meaning that the airframe begins to disintegrate while you're flying. The vehicles we're talking about are performing in excess of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 Gs.
So are you...
Any part of the federal government is knowingly concealing evidence about UAPs from the public?
Yes, sir.
100%.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. I also want to just go down the line. I know many of you have already said this, but I just, for the record again, just briefly, what do you believe UAPs could be or are?
Strong evidence that they are non-human, higher intelligence.
I echo my colleague's comment, sir.
Genuinely do not know.
Don't know, but we must find out. Okay, thank you.
The interest in this topic, again, is enormous. This is the line from just members of the general public, excuse us, I'm sorry, to get into this hearing. Now, Marnie, I've covered probably hundreds of congressional hearings. This doesn't happen. I've only seen a line like this to get into a hearing one time, and it was last year for the UAP hearing back in July of 2023. So obviously this topic, don't need to show you, more about how much people are interested in it. Now, today, I think what we're going to see is lawmakers and the witnesses try to move the ball forward and take this topic from something that was maybe once taboo or not talked about as much, more into the mainstream.
Shalom. Call halal YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. That's giving all praise to the Most High. In the name of His only begotten Son, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to our teachers, the elders, and apostles of Great Millstone, who taught us His truth and sincerity, peace and salutations to the whole full scattered abroad. Shalom to 144,000. Real quick, I want to go into this post you see right here. It's from Raw's Alerts. It says, breaking, the U.S. House has announced a hearing on UFOs scheduled for November 13th, where lawmakers are expected to discuss recent reports, government transparency, and potential national security implications of identified aerial phenomenon. All right, and if you've been paying attention, this is the big talks right now about them exposing all these things and all these classified documents and stuff, and they did it before, which a lot of the stuff that they so-called exposed was redacted, but supposedly more information is going to come out about this, this whole alien or aerial phenomenon thing, unidentified aerial phenomenon, which we know that what they call UFOs are actually the chariots of the holy angels, or the Lord power of Israel, and the angels are in these ships, okay? But he plans to do a false flag. He wants to use Project Bluebeam to pretty much deceive the masses of the world to believing a lie. So let me just grab this video right here, and we'll grab some scripture.
Sometimes worse. That
the most dangerous information that you know.
Oh boy. They're going to hoax an alien threat, I'm quoting, and it's all a lie. So we are actually in the last year at the point where they've started on that plan.
Well,
and that's why we're doing this next documentary.
Is that through movies?
We have got to intercept this plan and stop it. Or if you think 9/11 and the Iraq War was a clusterfuck, this is going to be that 1,000 times worse. That is, that there's a group of people who control this issue that are trying to provoke an interplanetary incident. So the next war, World War III, will be interplanetary. And there is a serious group of nut jobs and they have to be put on a leash and stood down fast and quickly. This group started releasing stuff to the CNN and Washington Post and New York Times. Every bit of information they're putting out has the spin, it's a threat to the national security, our sovereignty has been invaded. It's the kind of brainwashing that's already started to try to convince the public there is an alien threat. You know, the future, what we're going to do and have on this planet is hanging in the balance, and we're going to have to wake up.
All right, so you seen what this individual said. His name is Dr. Stephen Gear. All right, I've seen videos of this guy, which, both of these individuals are, who knows, okay, but both of them aren't, the most reliable information. But we've heard about this whole thing with Project Bluebeam, where they want to, in this year 2024, which is coming to an end. You have inaugurations January 20th, and they're saying that a lot of things are going to happen in between that time. So I wouldn't be surprised if they try to, do this Project Bluebeam, alien hoax, all right, to fake an alien invasion. Now, one thing he said was the next war, World War III, will be an interplanetary war, which is basically them trying to say that, and this is why they created a space force, because really these devils, the powers that be in this society, the globalists and all these elites, they know that the Lord is coming back, and when the Lord does come back, he's coming back with ships. He's coming back in ships. Man, the angels are coming back in those ships, which they'll try to say are aliens, little green men, but we already know what's going on. Okay, they can't deceive us, but they're going to deceive the most. All right, they're going to deceive most of these people out here, man. These people are going to be taken by storm. And, they're not going to know, left from right, right from left, up from down, So let's grab a scripture real quick. It says Matthew chapter 24. And I want to read this in the NLT, actually. I read this in the NLT. It says, and I'm going to go back and forth from the NLT to the KJV. But it says in Matthew chapter 24, verse 21, it says, "For there will be greater anguish than at any time since the world began, and it will never be so great again." So we're coming into a time worse than any time in history for great tribulation. It says, "In fact, unless that time of calamity is shortened, not a single person will survive." So the Lord is speeding up the times. This is why, weeks feel like days, months feel like weeks, and years feel like months. Okay, this thing's going fast. And call HALAL YAHAWAH for that, because that means that we're getting closer to our kingdom and our salvation. It says, "But it will be shortened for the sake of the Most High's chosen ones." And in the KJV it says, "And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened." So the Lord is doing this for his elect, for the elect's sake, right? Verse 23 in NLT. "Then if anyone tells you, 'Look, here is the Messiah,' or 'There he is,' don't believe it." Right? And that's what they're going to do with this whole, hoax, false alien hoax, false alien invasion hoax. They're going to tell you, "Oh, look, it's the Messiah, it's the Lord," and they want to do this to establish a one world government, all right, to make everybody come in agreement with one world, government, one world rulership to better control. It says, "For false messiahs and false prophets will rise up and perform great signs and wonders so as to deceive, if possible, even God's chosen ones." So that's the whole thing they're doing. They want to deceive. All right, they're going to show these great signs and wonders, and they have the technology to do this. All right, they have the technology to do all of this. It says, "For there shall arise false anointings and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible," and that's a big if, because it's not possible, "they shall deceive the very elect." So the people that are not of the elect, they're going to, they're in their own little world, la-di-da-da, don't know what the hell going on. And when this happens, it's going to shake them up. They're going to be afraid that, they're going to be deceived. But for the elect, they're going to know, "Oh, no, I already know what this is," And this is also why it's important to understand the prophecies, because Esau, if you try to fake this alien invasion, we know the Lord isn't coming until, the majority of the world has been micro C-hip with the MOTB, the mark of the beast. All right, we know that has to happen before the Lord makes his second coming. All right, but Esau may try to fake an alien invasion to get more control, so he can then enforce, people, to take that MOTB, so he can collapse the society, bring in a new world order, one world government. This is their plans. All right, this is how this man gets down. And majority of these people, they're not going to see it coming. All right, they're not going to see it coming. They're going to be taken by it, and ultimately be destroyed. Let's go over here. It says Job chapter 12 verse 16. With him is strength and wisdom, and with him is strength and wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his. So, hey, those that are that are deceived and those that are doing the deceiving, the Lord got something for both of them. Okay, so it doesn't matter what these people think, or the ones that are deceived, they're all gonna be destroyed together. They all have these great plans and aspirations for these psyops that they're doing, but at the end of the day, it's going to come to naught when it comes to the elect. Let me grab because they know that in those ships, the angels, at least the globalists, the ruling elites do. They know that those are the angels, and they see that their time is short, but so they're going to try to use that to their advantage to try to deceive the whole world into taking that charagma. It says, Psalm chapter 68, verse 17, the chariots of the Most High are 20,000, even thousands of angels, and the Lord is among them as in Sinai in the holy place. So the Lord is among them, all right? And those are angels in those ships. But Esau, he's going to try to make it seem like, they're little green men coming to invade the earth. That's all bullshit, man. That's Hollywood bullshit. And that's what Esau likes to do to, to control you. All right, even with this whole thing with that's my stomach, Salakia. Even with this whole thing with the C9, I can go on and on. 9/11, all these things were to invoke more control. Out of fear. It says Revelation chapter 13, verse 13. It says, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire to come down from heaven on earth in the sight of men. And this is what this devil does. He's doing these great wonders. He has this technology to do this shit now. Well, this man's technology will blow your mind. Okay? And the things that they show us, they're already 50, 60 years ahead of what we do see. So imagine the things that we don't see. It says, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had the power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by the sword and did live. So they want to bring in this new world order, okay? They want to bring in this new world order, and they deceiveth them that dwell on the earth. You people that are on this earth, in your own little world, you're gonna, they're deceiving you. That's why the majority of people that took that yab, man. You ran up there and rolled your sleeved up, not even once, but twice. In some cases, 2 or 3 or 4 times. Okay. It says. Well, we already know about all this. They're going to bring in the MOTB. Let me grab this right here real quick, though. Because this right here shows you that they know the Lord is coming with those ships. And, they're afraid. This is, 2nd Ezra chapter 13. I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, and it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night. So Ezra was seeing he's having a prophetic vision. It says, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven, which is talking about Yahawashi, with the thousands of heaven is the holy angels. Okay? And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. Because these people, you're going to see the Lord, man, come in his great glory. And they're going to, we got a sign one of the brothers made. It say, he's back and he's black. All right? They're going to be blown out of their mind that, for one, these ain't no little green aliens. And 2, that's the Lord. But he ain't a so-called white man as the whole world has been deceived, or it's like it deceived to believe. It says, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, they all burned that heard his voice, like the fire, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. So that ship, it shoots out a laser beam that can burn and penetrate, anything. Okay, it says, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. This is what they call, this is why he said World War III is going to be an interplanetary, war, because they're thinking that they're fighting aliens, but really you're fighting the Lord, you're fighting the angels, all right, and it's not going to be much of a fight. Okay, so they're going to gather up, all their fighter jets and their, their stealth bombers and all that stuff, their Air Force, these devils, they're going to gather all that stuff together to try to, combat and fight the Lord, but it's going to be to no, to no avail. It says, but I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. So it wasn't literally a mountain that he graved out and flew upon it. No, it was a chariot, okay, a ship that was so big, it was like a mountain. It looked like a mountain in the sky. It says, but I would have seen the region or place wherewith the hill was graven, but I could not. So he's saying that it was so massive that you couldn't see one end or the other. Like if you see a mountain, all you've seen is the top of that mountain. You're not even seeing where it starts and where it ends, okay? I had a dream of that one time. It was like a big, it was like a huge, mountain was in the sky, and the sky was red, okay, and there's like a huge mountain was in the sky, and I equated that to the ship, to that massive ship in that day. But in that vision, this particular mountain, it had stones in it. It had precious stones in it, and they shined bright like lights. It was like light was being, poured out of those stones. But it was a magnificent vision. It said, it says, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. And they showed you that an example of that on the movie Independence Day with Will Smith, when all those ships, all those fighter jets went to go, fight the, when they see these aliens, but they were angels. They went to go fight against those ships. It says, and they were sore afraid and yet durst fight, because they're going to be terrified. But the Lord is going to make them fight anyways, man. And they're going to want to turn around, you see, and run. But the Lord's going to make them fight. He's going to take control of their computers in their ships and make them come towards to the battle. Because the Lord loves a great battle, right? It says, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it were a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, and the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burnt them up every one, so that upon a sudden and an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and the smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. You see, so Ezra was seeing the Lord fighting these militaries. The Lord and the angels fighting these militaries. That's why I brought out the scripture 20,000s, because they're going to come with a great host of heaven. And they're going to, all these nations are going to band together to try to fight against the Lord and the angels, and they're going to be utterly wasted. Okay, it said that the great tempest, flaming breath, blast of fire was all mixed together. So that's fire on top of fire on top of fire. That's concentrated fire. Okay, and when that fire hits you, it's going to be nothing left. And they said all that was to be perceived was a smell of smoke and dust. So it completely vanquished those vessels, that came to fight against the Lord. And that's what we're about to see, all right, in real life. That's when the Lord really comes back, but first they're going to try to fake that, all right? They're going to try to fake that to deceive the people, make you take that charagma, all right? They got technology, and I might put it in the, post-production if I can find that video. The Lord willing, they don't take this down, but they got technology where they can, project the image in the sky. They're going to project the image in the sky based off of where you are and what is the predominant religion. And they're going to put, they can put a voice in your head. They can make a voice that, you know, you hear it in your head. You know, you're going to hear, it's like you're going to hear it in your head. They got this technology. It's like you're going to hear it in your head, and it's going to be speaking to you in your language, telling you that we all got to come together, be one people, and all this other bullshit. The Lord ain't coming like that, man. But that's how Esau wants to deceive the people, and he will deceive majority of you people, and you're going to fall for it, and then they've been destroyed anyways. That being said, I'm going to say shalom, coming Allah about the ball.